What are the top 3 misconceptions that people have about hiring an expert private criminal defense lawyer? In this video, we're going to talk about it, so stay tuned. I'm Adam Rossen with the Rossen Law Firm, and in today's video, we're going to be talking about the top 3 misconceptions that people have when hiring a private paid criminal defense lawyer. So the very first one is that we're too expensive. So before I talk about being too expensive, I do want to talk a little bit about being too cheap. Okay, you always want to be wary of the lawyer that is too cheap. Now, what are you going to see and what are you going to realize when you have a lawyer that's too cheap? Well, it's going to only be a few $1,000s, right? It could be $2,000, $3,000 when it should be a little bit more. Now, of course, there's a whole gamut of what, cheap versus expensive is for criminal defense lawyers, but it has to be appropriate. Somebody that's going to charge you very low fees, they're running a chop shop. It's high volume, low fee, get in, get out, and they're the plea out kind of lawyers. They'll walk in and plea out at the first or second date kind of lawyers. That's not what you want when you're talking about your freedom, your future, if you're an immigrant, possible deportation consequences. But on the flip side, you might be thinking to yourself and say, yes, Adam, that's great, but I'm not rich. I can't afford the best of the best. Well, hold on for a second, because you just might. So I can tell you at our firm, yes, we are more expensive because we're expert criminal defense lawyers, but I always want to make sure that we're not pricing ourselves out of just being able to help the everyday man, the everyday woman. So we do a lot of things in our firm to make that work. So one example is we offer payment plans, right? Now, we're not a bank, okay? We can't give you a 2 or 3 year payment plan on most cases. Usually it could be 3, 4, 5, 6 months, somewhere in that range. But we do have third-party financing partners that we've partnered with that can give our clients up to 2 years to pay. Okay. And the reason we did this a few years ago is because we want to help more people and we want people to have the options so they can hire us. Okay. But also, this is what credit cards are for, friends and families, help. We've even had clients draw down from their IRA, their 401k or whatever. When life throws a big curveball at you, again, we're not, here to fix your garbage disposal, something that you can hire somebody for, or you can even try yourself. But by and large, they're not going to really mess it up. The plumber's not really going to mess up your toilet. But a criminal defense attorney, hiring the wrong one could have generational consequences for you and your family. So that's number one. It's not as expensive as you think, especially when you break it down into payment plan terms and options. One of the things that we do with our payment structures is we do flat fees. So you know exactly what it's going to cost. And what we like to do at my firm is tier the representation, meaning, hey, look, you might have a very serious case, but if we can get this over with in 30 or 60 days with a great result for you, maybe if we can get a dismissal during that first initial prosecutor review phase, well, we're only going to charge you a fraction of what the total fee would be if we represented you for 2 years and went to trial. So we're very good about offering flat fee and different tiers so you know exactly what it's going to cost you. One of the reasons people hate their divorce lawyers is because they bill by the hour. That means every phone call, every email. If there's 30 court appearances instead of 10, you're getting billed and charged for every single one. And what that's going to force you to do is really not want to communicate with your attorney. When you have important information to tell them, you might just hold off until it's an emergency, because you might say to yourself, well, look, that's going to be a $200 phone call. Geez, I don't want to pay for that. It may also force you to finish your case earlier and you would get a worse result. So the way we do things, it's designed to keep the pressure off of the client. So that way, if the case goes longer than we expected, fine. As long as it doesn't go into a different stage, you're not getting charged more money. And that allows us to do what we need to do and the client to not feel like they're getting nickel and dime, so we can get you the absolute best result possible. That's what we're about here, at least at my firm. And I think that's so important to clients. So the second misconception that people have about criminal attorneys is that they're going to take your money and just disappear, right? Maybe not like literally disappear, but they're going to take your money and they're never going to call you. They're never going to be available. Okay. And again, that's something that does happen sometimes. And that's why you need to vet and know your lawyer, because we have seen it before with criminal lawyers where they'll take your money, they'll be very available. And then once you pay them, crickets, they disappear. They're very hard to get a hold of, and they're worried about the next one and the next thing. So it is, it's a misconception only when you hire the right firm. Okay. And that's part of the vetting process, obviously looking up, making sure, you feel comfortable doing your due diligence. But when you have the right private criminal defense firm, we don't do that. Okay. We're available at all times, right? Yeah. Maybe, only 3, 4 a.m. if there's emergencies, but we're available. We communicate. We want to make sure that our clients are comfortable. Okay. We're doing work for the money that we're paid. We're not just the walk in and plea out type of lawyers. So it's really important to find the right criminal lawyers, because the vast majority of us work really hard, care deeply about our clients, and are not going to be the ones to just take your money, run, and not deliver any results. And the third common misconception that we see is, well, look, won't any lawyer do, right? I can just hire anybody to do this. My friend's cousin is a real estate lawyer and he can handle my DUI or he can handle my drug trafficking case. Absolutely not. This is not a situation that any lawyer will do. When you've been arrested or charged or being investigated for a crime, this is something that can ruin your life, ruin your family's life, your future, and run generations deep. Okay. The law these days is highly specialized. I can tell you, you don't want me to handle any other type of law than criminal defense. I can't do your real estate issues. I won't handle your personal injury case. You don't want me doing family law or immigration either, just like you don't want them. Okay. Criminal law especially is highly nuanced, highly specific. And when you have so much to lose, your future, your freedom, right? You could possibly be deported if you're a non-citizen, even if you have your permanent residency. Permanent residents are deported every single day from our country. Okay. It's so essential that you hire criminal defense experts. What more is there to lose than your future or freedom? If you hire a decent personal injury lawyer, maybe they get you a few grand less from your auto accident, right? Obviously, you want as much as you can get, but okay, that's not going to be detrimental to your life. You hire the wrong, person to handle your criminal defense case, that can very much be detrimental to your case. And I've done some articles on this, but if you remember way back when Mike Tyson had his criminal rape trial, in the early 90s, okay, it was in Indiana. It was in a small town. He had his corporate New York City attorney come. His corporate attorney was not a criminal lawyer. He was a corporate lawyer, a business lawyer, a fancy bigwig from New York City. And he came to this small little town in Indiana, had no idea what he was doing on a criminal case. And if you actually study that case, I truly believe Mike Tyson was innocent. He was set up and he went to prison because he lost the case because he had the wrong lawyer representing him. So it's so essential. So hopefully this video kind of cleared up some 3 common misconceptions, that any lawyer will do, which as we now know will not. If you have any questions, if you have a case at all, give us a call. We'd love to try to help you out. 754-206-6200.